Hope you all had a fantastic lunch and you've been enjoying your day. It's been an action-packed morning for me. I've absolutely loved being here. This is the last panel I will be introducing. My name is Megan Nilsson, aka Crypto Megan. So I hope you all have been enjoying this conference and that we see you later at the after party at Omnia. But we got a really interesting panel up next. Decentralized Finance for Everyone. We've got Jonathan, the co-founder of StakeUp Finance, Sam, the founder of Frax Finance, and Ov3rKoalified, aka Connor, COO of Alchemix Finance, and Luke, the co-founder of Luna Labs. Please give them a round of applause.
Hello, everybody. Today we're just going to chat a little bit about decentralized finance, what we think it can bring to the world, and specifically what we all are working on within decentralized finance. So we'll just start with a little introduction for everybody, and then we'll get into some DeFi talk. So we'll start with Luke over there.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luke Youngblood. I'm a founding contributor to Moonwell. Moonwell is an open lending app on Base, Optimism, and we're rapidly expanding across Ethereum L2s. Great to be here.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jonathan Thomas. I'm one of the co-founders of StakeUp Finance. So for us, we're trying to build a yield-bearing stablecoin that's able to give the federal funds rate to anybody in the world. And right now, we're on Arbitrum and expanding to other EVM chains.
Hey everyone, I'm Sam, a founder of Frax Finance. Frax is a decentralized stablecoin and DeFi protocol, and recently we launched our modular blockchain Fraxtal, which is where all of this is based on. Thank you.
And I'm Connor, or Koala. I'm with Alchemix. We offer self-repaying loans, so it's a way to get an advance on your future yield. And I am the COO with Alchemix, so I do a lot of cat herding. And yeah, I guess we'll jump right into it. So I think at this conference, a lot of us have seen there's a lot of awesome Web3 gaming, lots of merch, lots of everything, but I think a common theme we've been seeing is that a lot of people are into crypto, but they haven't made that leap into decentralized finance. And I want to kind of ask everybody here why you are in decentralized finance and what you think it can help bring to the world or help improve within people's day-to-day lives.
I guess
Start again with Luke.
I guess I'll start. So first of all, DeFi, or we're now calling it on-chain finance, it's really a powerful tool for everyone, regardless of where you live or what your ability level is. And at Moonwell, we're trying to make powerful apps that are really easy for anyone to use. And so an example of what makes on-chain finance so empowering for everyone is that if you think about South America, for example, where 40% of the people in Brazil don't have a bank account, right? And other parts of the world where they might have hyperinflation, on-chain finance actually gives people the ability to like transact in stablecoins in a US dollar currency like USDC or Tether, and they can use those stablecoins to make payments to and from each other. They can buy groceries, they can buy things with them, and it's actually really powerful. And so another really kind of empowering thing you can do with on-chain finance is you can borrow against your digital assets. So traditionally in traditional finance, you typically can only borrow against your stocks if you're like really wealthy, if you're an accredited investor. Well, with on-chain finance, anyone, even if you only have $10 of Ethereum to your name or whatever token you have, you could borrow against that. And that's really liberating because it lets you do more with what you already have. So turn it over to you.
So I guess like to expand on that a little bit more, like where back in the day it used to be called open finance before DeFi, and it's just like now trying to be able to enable finance more for anybody in the world. So thinking about a bank account, like as Luke mentioned, barely anybody actually has a bank account, but you take it for granted here in the States where it's just like, all right, you deposit your money in the bank, you're able to get that 4% interest rate if you're actually in a high savings account, while the rest of the world is worrying about their currency, if it's inflating or if they have a very volatile currency. So for them, being able to have a different type of hedge or access to those products for the first time is one of those like very interesting products to come out.
Yeah, so I actually really like what Luke said in terms of on-chain finance. DeFi is a cool word for every one of us in the industry, but on-chain finance is literally more abstract. It's finance, but it's on the blockchain, right? That's what it really actually is. And the way that I like to think about it is like finance, or like a real financial layer on a network, is kind of the oxygen and water of like life on chain, right? If you think about it, all of the awesome stuff you see, like NFTs, GameFi, all of the things here in this conference and everywhere else, it came second after the original DeFi summer and the original financial revolution that happened in 2019, 2020, and 2021, that cycle for people that remember or were in the industry. And the reason for that is it's the evolution of essentially on-chain life, right? There's a reason that order happened, and people sometimes forget that without a real financial system on-chain, or on-chain finance, or DeFi, whether that's decentralized stablecoins like Frax, fiat stablecoins, a lending system like Moonwell, Frax's system like FraxLend, Alchemix, and saving loans and interest rates and all of these things, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to build the really vibrant and rich experiences that everyone like enjoys here, right? In NFTs and in gaming. Like if you build a game on chain and you need to swap between items, assets, or currency, how would you do that without something like an AMM like Uniswap? Or if you need to move between different kinds of stablecoins to lend it on Moonwell or on FraxLend, or open an Alchemix position so you can save on your TVL, how would you do that if there wasn't deep liquidity, right? And so the real thing that I like to remind everyone, and why DeFi and on-chain finance is essentially the bedrock of what everything else is built on, is that without it, none of the other stuff would be as rich and as vibrant, because it's like a desolate planet, right? Like it would be like Mars instead of like Earth. And so the main thing that everyone should think about is, how can we continue to build DeFi as a foundation so that everything else can grow and become even more valuable on top? And so obviously there's intersections of new technologies being built on top of DeFi, like AI and AI finance, things like IQ GPT and the other AI products and things here. And so that's really exciting, and it's entirely based on if we can continue to bring people in DeFi, increase the TVL of these blockchains, this on-chain finance ecosystem, so that everything else can benefit from.
Yeah, and I think adding to all of that, we touched on the use cases in countries like Brazil and elsewhere, but I think even in the United States, there's a lot of potential benefit in DeFi if we can get the right regulatory framework to allow it. And I think like Luke touched on one, which is that there are all of these tools that are traditionally available through pretty gated systems in terms of like borrowing against your wealth and leveraging your wealth and all of that. And decentralized finance makes all of these tools significantly more accessible. And not only that, but decentralized finance does it in a way where you have the option to self-custody to any level you want. And I think a really important part of that, and what a lot of work happening right now is doing, is trying to give people the option to say either, hey, I want to fully take ownership of my assets and everything I'm doing, who I'm lending to, but also to have this spectrum where you can say, hey, I trust this person to do specifically these things with my assets. And I think decentralized finance creates that, or on-chain finance too, creates that spectrum where you don't have to fully give up custody of your assets in order to benefit from your tools. You can kind of selectively know what's happening with your assets, give certain trust to certain people, but it's not a requirement, because ultimately if you do want to take full self-custody, if ultimately the system does someday fail you, you can always take your assets and have full control of them. And I think that's just an amazing baseline to have for the system, where then we can build all these other tools on top of it. So with those kind of points of DeFi in mind, I want to chat about what each of us are building and where we're trying to bring these benefits to everyone through our protocol. So we'll go reverse order this time. We'll start with Sam.
Yeah, so Frax started about 4 years ago as a decentralized novel stablecoin, dollar-pegged stablecoin, Frax USD. And essentially, we have the stablecoin that is now entirely on-chain by over-collateralized loans. So for example, if you have like $100,000 of Bitcoin, you can come and essentially mint 50,000 Frax USD pegged stablecoins, right? And so now that $100,000 of Bitcoin backs that $50,000 of Frax USD stablecoins, right? And then so, like it was said, it's entirely non-custodial, right? Like no one can touch your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, the type of collaterals that are accepted in the system, and you get debited an interest rate that's algorithmically decided based on how much people are taking out loans. The more loans that are taken out, the higher the interest rate. Some people see that and then they repay some of the loans, and the lower the interest rate goes, right? And it's set as a entirely autonomous market system, right? And so these Frax stablecoins distribute around the ecosystem. Credit is created, right? People take out loans and there's debt denominated, allowing people to invest in different places without having to sell. There's a lot of liquidity for Frax assets, and as we've expanded the ecosystem, we've recently launched Fraxtal, our modular rollup, which is actually top 14 rollup by TVL and activity, and we're growing really fast. And as I was saying, the important thing with getting general purpose chains like Fraxtal, like Base, like Cardano, like Near, like TON, all of these things that are general purpose platforms, the important thing is to start with a very safe, very known, and very professionally integrated financial stack, stablecoins, credit, lending, DeFi, and then bring the vibrant builders that actually create the second order ecosystem of meme coins, AI, anything fun, games, and these kind of things. And so at Frax, the thing we're most concentrated on is providing a solid, non-custodial, decentralized, transparent foundation of finance, and using blockchain technologies to launch our own modular network and other decentralized finance products.
Yeah, thanks for that, Sam. And I guess like for what I'm building is StakeUp, we're looking at it as building like the first primitive for the money Lego stack, where it's a stable coin that's able to pay out a actual federal funds rate or just a general yield for anybody, where it becomes that perfect pair asset for the rest of DeFi, and being able to really enable everything else to be built on top of it. For us, it's looking at how can we be the most risk minimized, or actually just foundational layer where we're trying to isolate as much risk as possible in the system, and then just say this is the foundational level. We're able to allow everything else to be built on top of it. For us, it's looking at how can we go from the beginning point of DeFi, where that's probably going to be the main drivers early on, but then being able to expand out into more of the traditional markets where they might not have any exposure to that in the first place. So it's really just coming down to like, how do you educate more users overall?
Rare Evo 2025 tickets are on sale now. Save big. General admission passes are discounted to $250, and VIP passes are only $800. Join us August 7th through 9th, 2025 at Caesars Palace, Las Vegas. Hurry, only 30 days left to save. Visit rareevo.io and buy your tickets now.
Thanks. So Moonwell is an open lending app on Base and Optimism. And in the Moonwell community, our mission is to just bring the most powerful on-chain finance tools to everyone in the world, regardless of your ability level or where you live, right? And a big part of that is just making a really easy to use mobile-first app that you can use on your iOS or Android device from anywhere in the world, and it lets you access on-chain finance in a really simple and easy to understand way. We've tried to remove all the jargon and just simplify it, use common terms like credit limit so people understand, if they've ever had a credit card, for example, how much they can borrow. And we try to really simplify it because if you think about, the average crypto user today, it's very different than where we need to be if we want to bring on, millions of people or eventually, 1 billion people in the world to use on-chain finance. So it needs to be very easy, like a Web 2 app, like a Venmo or a PayPal, right? Where when you use a Web 2 app, it's mobile first, typically. You don't have to pay transaction fees to actually use the app. And in the last 6 to 12 months, we've kind of solved all of these onboarding issues. We can now onboard people without creating a wallet, without downloading an app. We can give you a private key that's in your secure enclave on your device, so you never have to back up a seed phrase. You can begin using our app right away without having to buy ETH to pay gas, because we have these new smart contracts called Paymaster that can sponsor your gas for you. And so we're trying to systematically remove all those barriers to adoption, so that if, for example, you wanted to help a friend or a family member use crypto or use on-chain finance for the first time, you could actually just send them to our website and they could walk themselves through it without having to be handheld and without having to do something scary like copy and paste an address into a withdraw box on a website, right? So we're just trying to make on-chain finance accessible to everyone. And what Connor said resonated with me about decentralized non-custodial smart contracts. So all of Moonwell on the back end is a decentralized protocol that can run on any Ethereum blockchain. And because it's decentralized and it's non-custodial, this is really different than the CeFi lenders that blew up a couple years ago. So if you think about the Celsiuses, the BlockFis of the world, the reason why they blew up is because they were centralized counterparties. You loaned them your coins, and you had no idea what they did with those coins. You didn't know if they lost them. You didn't know how much they loaned back out, so you had no idea if you could withdraw your money later. So when you're interacting with Moonwell, behind our beautiful app, you're actually interacting with a decentralized blockchain where those smart contracts are immutable, and you can have certainty. You know exactly how much is deposited, it's transparent, it's visible on the blockchain. You know exactly who has borrowed and how much. You know exactly how much is available liquidity, so you could always withdraw your funds, or you know if you could withdraw or not, right? And so this is it brings a new level of transparency and trust to like the financial ecosystem that just doesn't exist in TradFi, right? You can't call your bank up and say like, hey, how much money do you have in case there was a bank run, right? But in on-chain finance, you can see on the smart contracts on a block explorer exactly how much money is in every money market. And that's a new level of decentralization and trust minimization. And just to know that it's governed by a DAO, and there's not some group of people that can just rug you, right? That's a pretty powerful thing. And I think all of us are kind of building with that same vision in mind.
Yeah, and adding on to that, I think something really important when building in DeFi is you need to build things that people can use passively. Because if you're building things that people have to be checking every day, wondering if they lost all their money, all of that, monitoring their positions, everything, you're not going to get adoption. And so I think all of us have something there where like Frax and Moonwell both have like you can leverage your wealth and borrow, but to make that possible, people have to lend to you. And if you're a lender, all you have to do is stake your collateral, and you will lend and you will earn money, and you can just let that passively happen. With StakeUp, you can access yield similar to T-bills on chain, so it's as simple as buying the token and letting it sit. And so I think anyone building in DeFi needs to make sure that they're creating like a passive, safe experience, and all of this requires kind of more degenerate or active things to happen on the back end, but that's where all of the people who are in finance, in crypto and everything can participate on a daily level, and they actually make that system possible where people can just stake, earn yield, and be contributing to the people who want to take more advantage of DeFi. And so I think with Alchemix, what we offer is self-repaying, non-liquidating loans. So essentially you're getting your yield up front, and then your collateral that you give us will repay its debt over time. And because these are non-liquidating, we find that this is a very good way for people who want to explore borrowing and leveraging to first experience that, because they can deposit collateral, they can take a loan, they can watch it repay, they don't have to worry about being liquidated, they don't have to worry about monitoring interest rates or anything. And so it creates this really good way to onboard people to the power of these tools, because their position's not going to blow up. And then when they get more comfortable with things like that, then they may want to take on more risk, more reward, and do kind of a more traditional lending protocol with like Frax or Moonwell. But all of that just kind of fits this mindset that if you're creating things that are easy to use and don't require a lot of activity, then you're building something good for society. If you're creating a product where everybody has to be like checking every day and doing active things, then all you're creating is a PvP gambling protocol. So that doesn't have a lot of benefit to the world. So I think that's a good summary of all of our protocols and everything. One thing we wanted to touch on at the end here is just how you can get involved in DeFi. So maybe you just haven't explored DeFi much and you want to try out the protocols. Maybe you have explored DeFi, but you're wondering how you can like contribute to these protocols, help them gain adoption, help them get better. So we'll just chat about how we think is a good way to get involved.
Yeah, so Frax actually is on many EVM-based blockchains, and we're currently exploring getting on a lot of non-EVM blockchains, such as Cardano, Near, Telegram's TON, and all of these places. And so there will be Frax assets, including the Frax USD peg stablecoin and a yielding version of it called SFrax. And you can use those assets, or as it was said, you can take out loans in Fraxland. And also, if you wanted to dig deeper, you can actually bridge some assets to the Fraxtal blockchain that we recently launched. And it is a modular rollup, so you can bring those assets on Fraxtal through Ethereum and other bridges and try out the entire ecosystem, build things. It is an extremely cheap chain based on the data availability technology. Swaps, transactions, and everything is under a penny, and it is similar to some of the other blockchains that people might be familiar with, like Arbitrum, like Base, and it is a really vibrant ecosystem and super early, so people can try out building things and work directly with the chain team, with the founders, with the core developers, and we're highly available. So I encourage you guys to join our Telegram channels and follow us on Twitter and try it out.
Yeah, for us at StakeUp right now, we're pre-launch, and for us, it's going to be that multi-chain future where it's going to be having deployments on Fraxtal, all these other L2s, Base, as well as like Arbitrum, insert any other chain that you're looking at, really, where more at like a foundational level to be able to get involved. And I think ways that people are able to contribute or be able to like learn more about DeFi is really just starting to join different communities, participating in like the general discussions that are ongoing, and then starting to ask questions, because most of the time everybody here, I would say, like more than happy to answer like any questions that anybody has at any time. And then it's really just starting to ask questions, maybe doing write-ups in your own theories of saying like, how does something actually work, and then being able to expand from there. I think that's a great way for a lot of people to start getting engaged and being able to really learn what DeFi is possible.
Yeah. So for Moonwell, if you'd like to try our app out, you can just go to moonwell.fi and you can try it out on your mobile device or your computer. We're going to be actually doing a demo in the Trevi room right after this. We're going to be doing some DeFi magic tricks. Since we're here in Vegas, I thought it might be fun to show you guys some cool magic tricks, like how to use an app without installing a wallet, how to use an app without paying for gas, you know, how to basically give yourself on-chain superpowers. And so we're going to be doing demos of my app and maybe some others in this Trevi breakout room, and you can actually talk to us afterwards if you want to ask questions about how to get involved. But let me just give you a couple of ways that, you know, if you want to get more involved in DeFi and on-chain finance, you know, join the project Discords. We all have pretty vibrant Discords where like community members hang out and they share ideas and talk to each other about, you know, improvements they'd like to see, get support. You can open a ticket right in our Discord. But also, if you want to just help out, maybe you're the kind of person that likes to help people, or you like to research different crypto protocols and things like that, you'll find that a lot of these communities are looking for like active contributors. I would say, you know, 2 of our best full-time contributors to Moonwell, we actually found in our Discord, and now they work full-time for the project and make really good salaries, like working in DeFi and on-chain finance. So if you have an interest in like even doing it part-time, we have about a dozen, you know, community contributors globally that do different things, like, you know, translate into different languages, you know, help with governance, help with social handles in different languages. They manage like different communities, and so there's a lot of opportunity in on-chain finance to just like jump in and kind of help projects. And you know, all of us were like not doing this like 5 years ago, right? We might have been working in other areas of tech or other parts of crypto, but you know, there's a lot of opportunity because everyone is still figuring this out. This is a new universe of on-chain finance, and so there's a ton of opportunity for people that might just want to spend a few hours here and there helping projects. And so I'd encourage you to come to our Discords and do that. And then you want to talk about the little side event afterwards?
Did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to what Luke said. Exactly as he said, our community contributors, the people that run different parts of the Frax ecosystem, they're all they found it online, and now they're part of the DAO, the decentralized community. They get paid. They have funds to put on events. So if this is something you want to get involved in, I'm literally in the Telegram, the Discords, and online, and it is such a welcoming community. And there's no other place, as Luke said, like Frax, Moonwell. There's over 1 billion TVL in liquidity in the Frax ecosystem, and you can get involved in trying out these products, getting liquidity for your own products, swapping, everything. And it's a very, very vibrant and large ecosystem. And just give it a shot. Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of building on that, the goal of a lot of these protocols is to be decentralized, right? And that means you need a lot of different entities working on these protocols, which means the goal is not to just keep this all intrinsic to one team. The goal is that new teams and projects spawn out of this, so that it's a bunch of different groups of people all independently working to advance the ecosystem. And so that's why I think DeFi is so open to people just like joining the Discord, being helpful, and then eventually applying for a grant or writing a governance proposal. And to echo what Luke said, like at Alchemix, all of our non-founders, our non-technical non-founders, were all internal hires from our Discord. They were people, including myself as the COO. I found the project when it launched. I started asking a bunch of questions. Eventually I was answering questions. Then I was writing governance proposals. Then I was doing business development. And then I became the COO. Like, it literally just, and that's the exact same story with the Lunar Lab COO, actually. We met and we were like, oh, we did the same thing. And that's a very common thing in DeFi, is just if you show up and you take initiative, even if the first things you try are just totally wrong, you'll learn from them, and you'll learn where you can have impact, and that impact will lead to a role in DeFi. It's a very common path that people take. So yeah, definitely hop in the Discord. And wrapping up, like Luke said, they're going to do a Moonwell demo in, what's the room?
It's in the Trevi ballroom, so you could actually follow us if you want to just like meet us on the side of the stage.
We can all meet at this Rare stage. If anyone would like to see a demo, they're going to give out some USDC. I also have some cards for $20 positions in Alchemix. So the idea is you have to learn how to use our protocol if you want to take your $20 out. We can chat more about DeFi. So yeah, if anyone wants to meet us out there, we'll be headed to the breakout session after this.
The Trevi ballroom, in case you don't follow us, you just go out these doors to the right, but don't go down the escalators. Go down the stairs further to the right, and then just follow that. You'll see Trevi on your left.
Yep.
So, but you can just follow us there. We're going to be giving out, $5 of crypto just to try Moonwell, so you can try it out on your mobile phone, whatever device you have, your computer if you have it. And they're going to be giving out Alchemix gift cards. Ask us questions. We're here to help. So just do some fun demos and some DeFi magic tricks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoying the event? Fire up that wallet and delegate your ADA to Rare Stake Pool. For over 3 years, Rare has been committed to providing high-quality staking services. And we're now Chang Hard Fork ready. Thank you for your support.